You are watching Pucknology After Dark. Oh my.
You've got mail.
You've got mail, and hopefully it includes playoff packages. Yes, might as well run with the AOL joke for once in my life, since I'm hosting and driving the show with my colleagues AJ Strong and Gentry Alexander. This is Pucknology After Dark, following a 3-0 victory over the Desert Dogs, sometimes known as the Arizona Coyotes. Uh, to join us, by all means, use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark. You can follow us on Twitter. Tonight you have yours truly, Puckeye14, AJ_Strong, or J Alexander 46. There's also the YouTube chat to join us in there, so feel free to use that along the way. We have AJ Strong with me. What's up, bud?
What's going on, guys?
All right. And my fellow Notch Breh, Gentry Alexander.
What's up, jerks?
Wow, you're so sweet. And I thought AJ was the mean one on this show. All right, so we won tonight, so that's a good thing. It definitely changes a lot of things in the standings, so we'll hit that right off the bat. All right, so LA is idle. They're at 93 points with 11 to go. Anaheim is at 89. They have a game in hand on the Sharks, who are at 88. They picked up their 38th row of the season with 10 to go. Arizona's clinging on like crazy. The next point essentially, or the next 2 points will essentially eliminate the Coyotes. For the Sharks, for the Ducks, their magic number is now down to 1. So any 1 point gained by the Coyotes or 1 by the Ducks means that Anaheim will be clinching a playoff spot. For the Sharks, just a combination of a win or picking up a point and Arizona losing a point, and it's done for them. Vancouver and Calgary, while they are no longer able to uh, play in the Pacific, still have a shot at the wild card, but at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to matter for the wild card. So, guys, I'll start off with AJ first. We could be clinched by Tuesday night. But first, we'll talk about Sunday night and your thoughts at Shark Tank tonight.
Oh, tons to talk about. First off, for those of you who are unaware, since the Oregon has returned, the Sharks 4-0, undefeated in the Oregon era. Just imagine if they had had the Oregon in the house on opening night. Donskoy, dude, Ian's man crush. Have a game, bro. 2 primary helpers, draws a huge penalty that leads to a hurdle goal on the power play. Just can't say enough about that guy. You almost could have made an argument to give him the first star over Reimer tonight, in my opinion. Sharks' top power play unit, or the lack thereof. I think we need to cover that later in the game. I know I caught a bunch of shit 10, 15 games ago when I had offered the psychotic idea of switching the first and second units, and then tonight all of a sudden I saw a lot of tweets saying we should switch the first and second units. So, hey, we apparently the Sharks have bought themselves some dehumidifiers. You guys were at the game yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we'll have to discuss that a little bit later into this. Lowest attendance of the year tonight, in case you weren't aware, beating the record set by the Canes game at 15,814 tonight was 15,576. So,
Pretty much 2,006 people short of a sellout, and didn't even look like that.
No.
No.
And then we'll get into some other stuff afterwards. So
Yeah, we're gonna touch up on all that with dehumidifiers and everything. Gentry, your initial thoughts as we get underway here.
I just want to give a shout out to the bearded wonder, the top scoring defenseman on my fantasy team, Brent Burns, for beating Sansis Ojulin. Why can't I say the name all of a sudden?
you're not the only one.
Yeah,
We'll
but
get to that later too.
yeah, Sandis Ozerlin. Oh God, so I'm just gonna fucking.
Ozolinsh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beating his record for most points by a Sharks defenseman. So kudos to Brent Burns. He's had a hell of a season and a hell of a turnaround since the beginning of the calendar year. So, and yeah, and what else can you say about Reimer? I think that was a wise move by Wilson.
Yeah, that's coming on really strong. 2-1. He's played super well uh, through his 4 games. Yeah, he lost that first one against Vancouver, but
Well, that wasn't his fault. The team didn't.
that wasn't his fault. I mean, but 2 shutouts in 4 games. I mean, come on, that's just insane. To which I present to you guys, and I'll start with AJ. Do we have a goalie controversy on our hands?
No, not at all. And the reason being is because we can only afford one of them. I mean, you can maybe say you have the issue of Reimer making the case to get maybe more starts than we had initially anticipated when when the Sharks got him. Maybe we see them. I think we discussed this a couple shows ago, but I think I was saying something along the lines of for the next 12 games, I was seeing an 8-4 split, maybe 7-5. At this point, I think you kind of have to go 6-6 until something definitive jumps out at you. But it does the better that Reimer is doing right now, the more bummed out I am knowing that we have no way in hell of signing him next season.
Gentry, do you keep rolling with the guy, especially after if you have it clinched? Why start Jones? But yeah, 6-6 maybe, or what do you think?
I feel like since you establish who your number one is going to the playoff very early on, but then and once you do that, and obviously at this point it's going to be Jones, you put in you rest him because why not? I think you give him a couple more starts just to kind of keep it. You give him a couple more starts like towards the end of the season just to kind of keep him fresh, but I say you just roll with Reimer until something comes up because obviously Reimer can handle the load and he's been looking great. But you want to save Jones for the playoffs. And because as the magic number is now down to 2, I mean, if you can clinch a spot, rest him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. Get some starts for Reimer. Definitely, have that insurance ready to go. My thing is, and I'll ask for a percentage, and I'll start with you, Gentry. A percentage of the chance that Reimer gets a playoff start.
Ooh, a percentage. In the first round, I'm going to go pretty high and say there's going to be a 35% chance. Because if we are facing the Ducks and let's say, in one game we get blown out, you put in Reimer. But if we're facing the Kings, I say that probably jumps out because, actually with the Kings, I think the number would probably go down because Jones has a pretty good record against the Kings, so go with him.
AJ, what do you think? Percentage of chance that we see Reimer and Nets for a start?
I think it's better than 50-50, just based on what we've seen historically from the Sharks. I don't see them sweeping anybody. I don't see them taking a 3-0 lead on anybody. Maybe if they get up 2-1, if they get up into a game or something. I could see Reimer starting a game. I don't think the DeBoer or the Sharks are crazy enough to, win 2 games with Jones handedly and then roll Reimer out for the third one just to go, just to like prove a point that not only can Jones stop everything you throw at us, so can this guy too. So you have no shot. But I think he'll probably get a game because I think the Sharks will lay an egg at one point in the playoffs, and so they'll make that adjustment.
Yeah, it's definitely you don't have to bank on one guy going in like you would if it was Stalock in the playoffs. Although, the Sharks actually used Stalock in that dreadful series in 2014, and the Sharks have used a backup goaltender in a series before, Verdon and Shields in 1999.
Didn't they go Naby
So,
Toskala?
uh,
Or was that pretty much? Oh, that was
I
just the
think that was
regular season.
I think it's mainly Navi and Toskala, and then Toskala just started all of '06. It's a thought and it's a welcome problem to have, guys. Let's be honest here. Uh, no doubt about it that. Um, but I'll throw this out there. So now when we talk about the second power play unit, um, definitely seems like it's clicking a lot better. Donskoy, Hurdle, Ward, with an array of people on the points, whether it's DeMello or Martin, sometimes even Burns on there. It just seems to be gelling a lot better. What do you say, AJ?
Oh, ask the question again. I'm trying to read. I'm reading tweets. I'm listening to you, and I'm pulling up something else. What was it? What was the question?
Multitasking at its finest. Thank you.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
just that the second power play unit seems to be gelling a lot better now, and perhaps even more so than the top power play unit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, I've been beating this drum now for last 10, 15 games, and now I finally got some people to beat along with me. Boom, boom, boom. Start the second unit. We've covered this, but the top unit for me lacks a certain amount of creativity because it's fallen into that rut where, how many times have we talked about it before, where it seemed like every power play began with Thornton on the half wall, and looking for guys are standing around, guys aren't trying to be creative, they're not looking for space, they're just kind of waiting, and people can predict that, okay, don't really have to cover Thornton all that much because we know he's going to pass it, he's not going to drive the net. So we saw a couple times where Thornton did go back to his office behind the net a few times, and it looked like they were trying to do something creatively. But at this point, I saw a stat earlier that was tweeted out that it was something along the lines of, out of the last season, they had scored 55 goals and 42 of them came from, I'm sorry, it's right here. Thornton, Pavelski, Burns, Marlin, Couture group had 43 of the 55 power play goals last year. This year they have 34 of 52. So while it's still the majority, it's gone down significantly. And I'm not, this is so an Ian question or a Chris question. I'm not following who's getting the majority of the power play goals over the last 5 games. I'm just looking at what the stat is, and right now I believe it's 4 out of 15 at 26%. So if you're rolling at 26%, that's a pretty decent power play, and this is over the last 5 games, not over the season. So I think that's pretty decent, but you got to give that second unit more looks. And like I said, I would love to know, like, over the last 10, 12 games, what unit is responsible for the goals.
Yeah, it's got to be more so, I think, on the second unit, especially the last couple of games where we saw Donskoy with that nifty pass with Ward against the Rangers yesterday. Gentry, I'll throw this at you too. We're now seeing a lot more flow, a lot more rolling the 4 lines. Just looking at the stats here, Zubris was the lowest guy on the totem pole in time of ice, and that was 11 minutes. And you only had Burns and Martin over 20. And that's something that can help you along the way.
Oh, I agree. I think if you're able to roll all 4 lines into the playoffs, it's going to pay dividends because look at the best teams right now in the NHL who are able to consistently roll all four lines and get production out of them. You've got your, and I hate to, you got your Kings, you got your Blackhawks. They can roll all four lines and then they can all threaten to score on you. But they each play, a defensive game, which is, and if the Sharks can kind of start divvying out the time on ice, and you can roll all four lines going into playoffs, and you can start to kind of get some consistency with all them. I'm feeling a lot better going into this season than I have been in the previous couple, where it's been, our top two lines are doing most of the work, and then our bottom six have just kind of sat there and said, "Meh, we'll just rely on those guys." So.
Yeah. Here's another thing as I'm looking at the stats. AJ, here's where we see it. Carlson 100%, Couture 67%, Hurdle was 50%, Spalling was 55%. However, Pavelski at 22, Jumbo at 44, Tierney at 30, which is usually a surprise. Seems like the lesser known guys are actually getting it done in the face-off circle.
Well, it's the old cliche that the money guys, need to earn their money. Those guys need to set up. Now, there's always the opposing argument is that typically the big money guys face the big money guys for the other team. So the competition that Thornton and Pavelski are going to see is going to be stronger than what Hurdle or Tierney might see. But it comes down to consistency, and you want to be trending up as you're heading into the playoffs. So I would expect more from those guys, and hopefully it's one of those things where they'll see those numbers when they review it tomorrow, and something that we look for on Tuesday versus St. Louis.
Yeah, and which to a team that they played very well against. Molerat 33, yeah, we're right with you as well. They say it's still a mystery to me how our power play is ranked number 5.
Well, that's over the course of the season, though. So
True.
that's a little misleading. But as I stated, though, they're 26% over the last 5 games, which is pretty damn good.
I think we're actually tied for 4th because I just remember looking at the stat because technically tonight we scored 2 power play goals, so I think they kept us tied at 4th.
Even better.
How did we score 2 power play goals?
The empty netter.
The empty netter.
Oh. See, and that's the other thing is that the stat gets skewed for that kind of horse shit.
But it's good horse shit because
it iced the game.
Yeah, I know, but it also overinflates a stat, which is a little annoying to me. I'll be more of a stats guy next year. Me and Chris are going to get together and we're going to make the most obnoxious Excel stats spreadsheet you've ever seen.
Oh, good God.
Which means me and Gentry will not be able to figure that out at all. But so pretty quickly here as we kind of wrap up on the game. Hurdle's looked pretty solid the last couple of games. He's got a goal and 3 assists.
Yeah, I'm loving Hurdle. Tierney is to Chris as Hurdle is to me, as Whitney is to you, and so on and so forth.
Whoa.
Well, okay, let's not go that far, but you know what I'm saying.
I was gonna say that's.
Yeah, we're not full on Gentry Boyle yet, but you know.
All right. Well, here's a reminder here, and it's gonna be very interesting because the Oilers will take on the Coyotes at 7 p.m. So they'll start earlier than the Sharks will on Tuesday night, which means that by the third period, if by some odd reason the Oilers actually beat the Coyotes, the Sharks could have their playoff clinch wrapped up by the middle of the third period on Tuesday night. So it'll be a very interesting down the road. There'll be definitely a lot of scoreboard watching. That is a CSN game. Perfect. So, moving onward. AJ kind of hit it right on the head. We have dehumidifiers ready to go. They brought him in early, which is something desperately needed to do with I don't know 4 games left in the team's longest homestand of the year. Gentry, you and I were at the Sharks game and Barracuda game last night. Uh, what did you think? Did it seem did it seem cooler with the dehumidifiers?
It did seem a little bit chillier, but it still didn't matter because after, in the Barracuda game, that puck was bouncing all over the place. It just wasn't. It made a little bit of a difference, but I think it's going to take a little bit longer just to kind of get the whole dehumidifier like circulating throughout the building. So, but yeah, it made a difference, especially where we were sitting in our seats for the Rangers game.
Yep.
Well, I know the couple of the press guys commented that they felt a significant difference in the temperature, that it was colder. So hopefully it continues to get colder and drier in there to make for a better sheet of ice. Because I did hear some people, was it at Megan, saying that the ice still looked shitty despite all their efforts?
Yeah, we were counting with we met up with Hockey Jerk after the game, or before the Barracuda game, and Gentry, what was it, 12 that we counted?
Yeah, we counted. I think it was up to 13 by the time that we left, of how many times the players would slip on the ice. It was hilarious.
I already have tickets for Thursday. I'm not sure if I'm going Saturday or on Tuesday, but I already have tickets for Thursday. And if I haven't looked at the weather yet, but if it's over 70 degrees on Thursday during the day, I'm going in shorts, and and I really hope to regret that decision.
I've rocked shorts and flip flops for playoff games. It's not bad, but yeah, I mean, you're at an ice hockey game. The place should be cold. I don't care if the richest people in the world who don't give a damn, that talk about negotiating deals. You kind of just make a deal out of it. Sorry, Gentry, go ahead.
Here's my question. So the dehumidifiers, why don't we just have those in place throughout from the start of the season?
No, why didn't we have those in place since 1994?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, why have we now just jumping on this, we need, to make the place colder. There have been a couple of times where I've gone to games and it has felt chilly and not from the dehumidifiers being there. So I'm kind of curious as to why all of a sudden is it because of our drought or whatnot? But I mean, I think just install them from preseason till the last game of the playoffs, however far we go into it, and just leave them there. I don't get how that's a big deal for SAP Center to just keep those installed or get new ones.
And let's be okay. Just raise your hand right now if you saw all that heavy duty machinery outside SAP and swore that Doug Wilson got a new tanning bed.
No, he keeps that under SAP Center. It's kind of like his Temple of Doom. There's the tanning bed, and then there's the cult that surrounds him and going, Talima.
I thought there was a chemical breakdown and they were bringing the hazmat stuff. But first, it's time for your local on the nines. And Thursday's forecast, we're looking at a mainly sunny sky, temperature at 72 degrees.
I'm so fucking going in shorts, dude.
You are looking at a low of 50 at night, though, mostly clear skies.
I'm fine with that. I need to see. That's what I need to find. I need to find a pair of teal shorts with a Sharks logo on them. So how did they not make those yet? I mean, we live in the fucking valley.
You can buy. They make them as swim shorts.
Yep.
So I'm not wearing swim trunks. I'm just. You know what? I'm just gonna. I swear to God, dude. I'm just gonna total just fucking old school the shit out of it. Just go get a pair of Levi's jean shorts, and then just go to the Shark store and just get every fucking annoying patch that they have, the 25th anniversary, everything, and just put patches all over a pair of denim shorts. There you go.
It would be like the reverse grunge look, where instead of a denim jacket, it would just be denim patches all along the shorts.
There you go. Yep. Down.
It's too bad. You
Or go
didn't get
straight up 90s and have them. What's that? Oh shit! What was it? When you used to see denim jackets with airbrushing.
Yeah.
Airbrush look. I go straight
I
up
was so
90s at
jelly of
airbrush.
airbrushing way back when.
Oh God.
Ah.
I had a few of those shirts that got airbrushed. Yeah, I miss
Mhm.
those.
I gotta find that one. I made a little art piece into a design, had it airbrushed, and I took it for the very first Sharks Fest way back in 1995. It was good times, and Bakes and the first time I met my my hockey hero Ray Whitney
You mean
were
Man
just
Crush?
I'm not gonna call him man crush until you call Dan Boyle your man crush. So,
Not my
all
Man
right,
Crush.
but to be honest, let's be quite honest here. It's an ice rink. It should be cold. I mean, it makes all the more sense. I mean, when we were in row two for the Barracuda game last night, and the ice looked very crystallized, which is not
Yeah.
good. It was more slushier than slushy Jake. Let's be honest here.
Hey.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitresses and enjoy the teal. Yeah, yeah. All right. Um, so
Wah, 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 wah.
so we kind of touched on it on the assist. On the assist on that Pavelski empty netter, two things happened. Number one, Brent Burns breaks the point record, which Gentry said earlier, passing Sandis Ozolinsh. But also, and this is the stat that Randy and Bakes put out on the broadcast. It was the 28th. Correct me if I'm wrong. There, 28th straight win that Joe Thornton had a point in the game, and
I
the
believe
Sharks won.
so. I believe so. And he got that at the last possible moment tonight.
I feel,
Jumbo's phenomenal. Sorry, Gentry, go ahead.
no, I feel like he's just like, oh God, time is running out. I need to keep my streak alive. Burns, dude, you know what to do. He's, you got to give it to Jumbo. He's been playing like he's 26 and then back in love with the game again. And I feel like the do you kind of feel like the drama of the past couple of seasons has been kind of put into the back burner? Like I feel like with all the drama between him getting stripped of the captaincy and then his stuff with Doug Wilson and everything last year. Do you kind of feel like that's kind of that aura, like that mood around the team has finally been kind of you know pushed aside because now they got something to look forward to again. They look at what their lineup is, and there's a lot to be excited for.
Or maybe it's a fact of maybe he's just really liking what Pete DeBoer is bringing to the table because that's really one of the big changes.
Hmm.
I mean, who knows where his head's at with that, but he's definitely there's something going on there.
Yeah, no, totally. It just seems like he's gotten a whole new life in the league, and we mentioned it before on the telecast. Now he wants to, play as long as Yager has been, which is quite unreal. And I wonder what
That's it's an ambitious ask, bro.
Chester Chiva weighing in on Twitter, and I actually have this pair of shorts. So AJ, and I believe I saw it at a sports store in Valley Fair as well. So AJ,
I'm just not a board shorts kind of guy. I usually like just regular, But you know what? I'll take a
it's
look.
it's not a bad idea. We're just throwing that out there. Let me know if you do. I can fully rock mine, and we can both look like idiots in the stands that night.
Dude, it's we're what the hell date is it? Yeah, dude, tomorrow is the beginning of spring. It's not that big of a deal, man.
Bruh. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow too, so I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah.
Of course. All right. Moving right along. So they honored Marcus Ragnarsson tonight. Ian was joking, wondering when they were asking Pat Falloon to come out. Um, But Rags was one of those not strong stay-at-home defensemen that I would almost say kind of like Vlasic, where he wasn't flashy like how Burns is, but definitely played a strong game.
Well, you know what's funny about this whole thing is I just go back to if you look at the roster that the Sharks rolled back in 2000 when we had that great series and Nolan had the goal from center ice versus the Blues. It was a fantastic series. Look at the roster of that team. I swear to God, about half of them have been honored this season. Like seriously, you have Nolan, you have Friesen, you have Rathje, Ragnarsson, Hannon. If Stewart was available, they probably would have honored him. I mean, it just seems like damn near everybody on that team has been Ricci. I mean, just you've had Marchment. I mean, just a ton of people that were part of that group back then that have all been on. It's like they just looked at the squad versus St. Louis and said, yeah, just whoever's available on this list, let's just use them.
Well, then it was too bad that we couldn't use Vinny Domfus when Montreal was in town.
Yeah, right. Oh, and of course Stern. So yeah, it's been, I'm a little. The fact that they went with Odgers, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. He was a captain, but it just surprised me. Well, then why didn't you find Airy or Gill or what? Not that I could.
Go.
Yeah, no. But and then Doug Murray of all people, really?
Oh
Really?
no, Crankshaft was so loved.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I kind of echo what Ian was saying. Is just, when he's talking about a couple of these, it's like, that is kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit. He was a beloved guy, but I don't know. I think I could probably come up with three names that I think would probably fall a little bit higher on the list. But
yeah, no, I'm Crankshaft. Definitely. I would say just on his commercial alone. I
Yeah.
will break you.
Well, we've done. Ulf Dahlin's already been honored, right?
Nope. Ulf hasn't been honored. Makarov hasn't been honored.
Wow.
I'm waiting for Johan Garpenlov. Come on now.
So it just seems like, okay, we're focused on like the 94 squad and the 2000 squad. So you've got what? You had Urbe, Larionov. Who else was the other guy? I thought there was one other person from that squad that they honored.
Squad. Oh, there's Odgers, Whitney.
Or Odgers, yeah.
Odgers,
Oh, Whitney.
Rathje.
Yeah. So there's a few, but it just I just feel like I would put Dahlin above Murray, but I think that also has to do with the fact that I've been following the team just a wee bit longer than some other people.
All right.
We're waiting for Andre Zuzin night.
Oh, then I can't wait for in 5 years for Torrey Mitchell alumni night. No thanks. I'm good.
God, let's not joke about that.
Yeah, Mark Bell night.
No.
Half
You know
beers
what?
are half price.
Well, if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna stir the pot, we should just go with Ed Belfour night, or Brian Campbell night, because technically they did play for the teams.
Yeah.
Or no, you know what's gonna happen? Somebody's gonna get jealous, and then we're gonna have Theron Fleury just so he can get booed one more time.
There you go.
Come on. All right. But while we relive the past, we must think about the future. Unfortunately, with that last goal by Joe Pavelski, that was the last time 6 a.m. will be used as the goal song by the Sharks.
Wait, hold on. How do you not have taps ready?
We couldn't afford the copyright payment for that.
Oh, I got you.
But you know what? I will say this. Now that they figured out the speakers and we could hear in the lower bowl.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. In fact, in Gentry, you might be able to tell or not. I could start hearing a little bit of chant of a.
I could hear it on the TV tonight.
Yeah,
I was
it's
surprised.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
Here's I don't know what it is. It's just like if you sit in the lower section, if you can afford it, it's like the sound. Like I could hear all the cues for the hay, and then all the hay cues that like play along the side of the building. They're all off, so everyone's kind of like, hey, like it's like disjointed and everything like that, but. I mean, it sounds way better in the lower bowl, and for the rest of everybody that has to sit up in the upper sections, I'm so sorry, but you know what? The song never got its due. I mean, it's not the fault of the song. The speakers sucked.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
So-
see, and that's the funny thing is that it won by such a landslide in the off season when you could actually hear it on your computer, listening to it on your mobile device when you can actually hear it. It won by a landslide, and then exactly what you're saying. There was a few games I went to where second, third, fourth row in the upper bowl, and I'm like straining I'm like, why can't I hear this? And then yeah, and then Rocket, I think it was Rocket and I went to a game, and we were like 3 rows from the glass, and it was like blowing our hair back. It was so loud, and it's like, oh, come on, guy, how can you not dial this in?
Yeah, no, it should have been. It should have been. But what was interesting is because we went to the Barracuda game last night, and at first intermission, it was kind of cute. They had Frenzy as the goaltender against 4 junior Shark players to kind of simulate a Sharks goal. They blasted the horn once and had the 4 finalists in there. In case you haven't seen it, the 4 finalists are Shout by the Isley the Isley Brothers.
Should be Otis Knight, but whatever.
Should be Otis Knight and
Or Otis
my
Day.
man!
I'm sorry, Otis Day
Otis
and the
Day
Knights.
and the Knights.
Yeah.
If you ever seen Animal House, you would know that reference. Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen. The Whiskey Adventures with This Is Sharks Territory. And of course,
No.
the greatest song ever, Get Ready for This by Two Unlimited. Gentry, I will ask you. You got to hear them live with me. Of course, I was biased in the reaction to it, but your thoughts of
No,
the
you are
song.
not biased at all. You are not the Fox News of biasness when it came to which goal song you. Here's the thing, though, is that Shout actually in the arena was really energetic, and it kind of caught the crowd into it. It's not a good goal song, but it was just the right amount of energy that got everybody kind of up on their feet and getting into it. But that's more of like a cute song that they would play at a Barracuda game more so than at a Sharks playoff game. Can you imagine? It's like, and the Sharks, it's an OT Game 7 at the Stanley Cup Final, and then the Sharks score, and then it's you make me want to shout. That. I don't know. That's more of a celebration song than anything. But, what was it then? The Van Halen song?
Mm-hmm.
That actually sounded good. And walking around the tank after the Barracuda game, that seemed to be the clear cut. Like, that was a lot of people favoriting that song, which I feel like a lot of those people that were voting for that song, it was their first time ever at a game. So their vote should not count. Whiskey Avengers.
Disenfranchise those assholes.
Yeah. And then the Whiskey Avengers ones, just take it off the vote. That sounded stupid. I mean, at this point, me and Hockey Jerk were trying to make every song they played into a goal song because I feel like we're at this point where we're going to be one and done with every goal song selection through the season. So it's just going to be a musical rotation of name the new Sharks goal song. So, yeah. But I did like Two Unlimited. It had that good nostalgia factor. It reminded me of wearing that my teal starter jacket. Yeah, and it also reminded me for some reason I had flashbacks of Space Jam.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll try not
You're
to be too
clearly
biased.
biased. We get
I'm
it.
trying not to be, but I will say this: the Van Halen song has a problem, kind of like 6 a.m. in the sense that you
You
can't
can't hear
really
it.
tell where the haze are coming in, and now that the haze are faster to come into play, I'm not sure that's going to work. Isley Brothers did, I thought, work. It worked well. My dark horse was actually This Is Sharks Territory, and I thought it would sound really good because it sounded good on my phone and on my computer. But I don't know if they changed the cut of it or whatnot. Um, just did not, just didn't sound right at all. So but yeah.
Well,
So
dude, when I listen to 6 a.m.'s Let's Go, when I listen to anything by 6 a.m., whether it's in my house, in my car, whatever, sounds awesome. Fantastic production value. If the speakers worked, it would sound very good in the
yeah,
tank. Um, yeah, the Van Halen song, I appreciate them using a classic rock track that everybody knows. Funny that I don't hear anybody bitching that, oh, Van Halen's an LA band, when I know that there were some people bitching about the 6 a.m. song, go, oh, they're from LA. Well, dude, Van Halen is like the quintessential LA band.
right.
Not that that means anything, but yeah, it just, even when you watch the YouTube video of it, the cut just it doesn't work. It's too abrupt. It's too just forced. Doesn't work. Shout to me is the same thing as jump around. It's something you play during a TV timeout to get the people excited into it. You use it during an intermission for a contest or something else like that. It's not a goal song, especially not the Isley Brothers version. Um, the Whiskey Avengers song, I mean, come on. It's just a bad surf song. Like I said, all the props in the world for it being a local band and it's actually specifically for the Sharks. I love that idea, but the execution is just so bad. Having this weird like ska surf song just doesn't work for me. And I mean, you want to talk about 6 a.m. Let's Go not being a well-known song, but This Is Sharks Territory. That's fine. Okay, yeah, that's completely reasonable, not hypocritical at all. So 2 Unlimited to me is the clear-cut pick to go with, at least for now, and ride it out into the playoffs and maybe see how it goes between now and the playoffs, and then make a decision when the after the parade down Santa Clara Street.
Right. So basically, how it's going to work is this: you're going to go onto sjsharks.com, and you will be able to select those four choices. I think you have until tomorrow to decide your vote, and then the top two. Was it top two or top three, guys? I think it's the top two.
Thought they said top two.
All right, the
Hmm.
top two will be alternating for the next three home games, and then
Well, that should go over really well.
and then Monday night on the 28th, when it's against LA, that's when the winner will be unveiled per
Oh my
se.
God! And
Uh,
can you imagine if the winner would have been LMFAO? There would have been Kings fans coming up in droves just to come to the game. Didn't even matter if the Kings won or lost, just to laugh at any time the Sharks scored.
Shark goals, sharks. It's you know what that mix sounds like. They got Ray Ratto in studio and just like sharks.
Yeah, but the at least the one like the thing like if we end up with Sharks territory, uh, we can at least hold on to the fact that we don't have some annoying dickhead voice begging people to go Kings go every 5 fucking seconds. At least we don't have to deal with that.
that's true. Screw Cartman. So I'm looking at it right now. So Saturday at 5. So make sure you type in "get ready for this" on the form. Um, while you're and also I believe you can. There were words that you can text to the Sharks Text Club uh, for 1 vote as well.
Yes,
So,
text ready to 742-757.
yeah, I forget. I mean, Shout is another one. I think Love was the other one. Was it Territory or was it? I think it was Territory.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
We all know. We know
Again,
you need.
I'm just trying to put that out there.
We're gonna try and be fair and biased and not biased here, but text when you get ready to text the Sharks Club. Make sure you are ready to text your choice. Just make sure that you are ready to send it and that your cell phone has service and that it's ready to send SMS text, MSM, I don't care. Just make sure it's ready. Back to you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. So I think we got our musical top 40 portion out of the way. We move along to Tuesday night when we take on the St. Louis Blues. That's a 7:30 start at the Shark Tank. That's on CSN. We've beaten twice, guys. AJ, what are you looking forward to? Do we see some retribution for what happened to Tennyson?
No. No, we covered this. I know we talked about this earlier. Ian Reed and I kind of fell on the same fence post. It's a case of the Sharks just have never had that in their DNA for the most part. They're not a team that takes a number. I mean, the playoffs, different situation. But when you're talking about a game that happened a month ago, we moved on. The Sharks just aren't a team that goes looking for retribution historically, so I don't see anything coming out of that. The only thing I'm looking forward to with that game is to just try to get the 2 points and to complete my poster collection.
You know, that poster looks wicked cool.
It does look sweet, but I felt like there was I love the idea of the poster. And if you're unaware, it's essentially a shot of the Sharks ice, the logo, and the bench from basically above, and it has just players throughout history where on one end you've got Nabby, and then it's Nolan and Ricci and Marlowe and Thornton and Vlasic, and you get all the way down to the other end, and Urbe's there. But there was one, I wish I could remember it off the top of my head. There was one person on the bench where I looked at it and I was like, really? And there was somebody else who wasn't on there that I wish I had. If I had the poster in front of me, I could figure it out. But aside from that though, kicking poster. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it down there. I might have to ask Hockey Jerk to hook me up or something like that. Yeah, so you've got, well, unfortunately I can't, a little bit of the bottom is cut off, but you can see Boyles in there, which I get. Burns, I get. But there's someone sitting, I think, in between Urbe and Boyle, and that's the one I was kind of, really?
No, let me look at it. Not reversed. Let's see. So, yeah, Murray.
Yeah, okay, so that's the thing. So I guess it's a case of, it's people that you've honored along with current players, although I don't remember Chichu being honored this season, was he?
Nope.
Yeah, he was.
He was?
Yeah, he had one of those posters. I still think that the best poster.
No, I meant like dropping the ceremonial puck.
No, they had a poster giveaway thing for him, so.
Yeah, which was considered the worst poster until they debuted the Pavelski one, and then they said, "Oh no, that's the worst one."
Oh, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, so I really dig this poster, but I look at that and I just kind of go, I think I could probably name 5 different players that I would imagine would be more worthy than Murray, and I mean, even just off the top of my head, when you consider length of time, Rathje, Friesen. I know he was, but I'm just saying for the amount of time he was around and everything, or even Friesen. So just my 2 cents.
I would have definitely given it to Friesen.
Yeah,
anything.
But bottom line is still a sick ass poster.
It is. So when you
that
go
one
to
they
the
got
game,
right.
if you go to the game, try to snag a couple extra.
Okay, all right.
You're going what? You're going Tuesday as well, AJ?
I'm deciding that. I haven't purchased a ticket yet. I think I'm probably going to go, especially if the attendance is anywhere near what it was tonight, because then I'll be able to sit just about anywhere I want for the cheapest seat in the house.
Wow.
And for those of you who are unaware, tonight's attendance was the lowest announced for the entire season. I had said earlier 15,576, and I think I had a little bit of dyslexia. Turns out it looks like it was 15,756. So either way, that's not good.
That's not good at all.
Especially with this team making a push for the playoffs, and you can now barely sell out.
A push for the playoffs, and if I understand correctly, and I also feel like it's funny that we haven't seen anything from Kurz or Pashelka or anybody talking about the attendance tonight. But not only that, but I also feel like I'm surprised because I believe a decent amount of schools have next week off.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that, and not to mention the fact that tickets are not very expensive right now. So I'm a little shocked by that.
Yeah, it's very concerning to see this at 15,756. I swear we're so used to them being sellouts or just short of sellouts that that's probably not good TV.
And you're bored on your own show, Eric?
No. I've been awake since 3 a.m. I haven't taken a nap. I have to be at work at 4 a.m. tomorrow, so shut up.
All right, we'll just hand the show over to me and AJ, and we'll.
No, shut up, you ignorant sluts. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, the attendance. I've never seen it so low before. It just seems so bad, and I know it can't be. It can't be just from the LA series. It can't be from how they missed the playoffs last year. I mean,
no, we did. I did an article about this on Pucknology.net. Speaking of which, Ian Reed has a great new piece up there today. Go check it out, Pucknology.net. But I did a thing about this after the first couple of games of this season that this was the perfect storm. This is you still stinging over the reverse sweep. Then the following year, your biggest acquisition is John Scott. You let go of Drew Remenda. You add Ice Girls. Just all these. Then you miss the playoffs. It was just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And then to top it all off, you bring the Barracuda here, which are a far cheaper option to go to games and see Sharks hockey. And then you've got a team 40 miles up the road that are winning championships and killing people that are fighting for the sports dollar. So it's really is just a perfect storm. I'm going to be interested to see. Now, I've heard that the season tickets have actually, the amount of season ticket holders, it's starting to go back up a little bit because they've held all these open houses. There's the whole new Sharks 365 that has kind of brought some people back into the fold to at least check it out for a season. But I don't know, guys. It makes me wonder what the hell they're going to give out next season to draw people in, because I don't know that they're going to be able to roll out these many promotional items at the door for every game next season.
And that's the catch, is that you're lucky that this is happening for the 25th. What happens when it's season 26?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the scary part. That's just a concern that I have for next season.
And honestly, speaking as a 10-pack holder, I don't think there's. I'm honestly on the fence about renewing it, because if they're not offering us anything other than, oh, here's a hat and here's 15% off at the Shark store. But if you go to any of the promotional games with the T-shirt packs, you don't get any of that stuff. And also, if the Sharks clinch a playoff spot, you have to pay for all 4 rounds in full.
Yeah, that makes 0 sense to me. So
it's all an enticement to join. Sharks 365.
Well,
Season tickets.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
I'd like to see them see what happens if when the next state of the Sharks type of thing is for the pack holders and the season ticket holders, where they're actually able to talk to the front office guys and get a because you're the ticket reps, they're just going to feed you what's in their binder that they're supposed to they're supposed to have an answer for every question kind of thing. So I'd like to be able to go in and ask this question to Wilson or to Tora or who somebody up in the higher office, especially when you're in a room of people that have the same same outlook and same complaint as you.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Although I will say this, um, went to the game for Jeff Odgers Day, and they said that if you give them $10, they will give you the shirt. So, I mean, in considering that the player tees in the Shark store are 30 some odd dollars, uh, pretty good deal. You
You would
just
think that they would have the nice thing is if they would have a kiosk available that has like all the leftovers for all the shirts or the wine glasses or the man cave signs or whatever, where they just to say, okay, here, yeah, you can buy these or whatever.
Like if it's a poster, give them out for free. But if it's like
Yeah,
shirts or anything like that, then just sell it at a discounted price. Just get rid of them, because I'm sure
yeah,
if they
sell it
knock
at
those,
cost.
it's like yeah, I'm
I
sure that if they added those alumni tees and had them somewhere for $5, those things would go like hotcakes. It's kind of like when they had
yeah,
like the Stadium Series shirts at the equipment sale, and I got like 8 or 9 shirts for like for $5 each.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean, the shirts are
that's
already paid for, so actually, not even sell it at cost. The shirts are paid for. Sell it, sell them at $10 a piece or whatever, and give that money to the Sharks Foundation.
that's the thing, guys. I have a feeling that if they have any leftovers of any of those giveaways, it's gonna be at the super sale.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably the enticement to get to the super sale, besides the getting the jerseys, of course.
Yeah.
So,
Wait,
let's go to the social media portion of our program. I'm trying to see what we got here. Teal City Cruise asking again, how many is that now at Puckeye 14 for magic number? Magic number is at 2. And again, to kind of quickly go over it, the Coyotes have a maximum of 91 points. And let me pull back up here. The Coyotes have 10 games left, so 20 points. So they have a maximum of 89 points. Now, it would be simple to go with, oh, you just need one and be done. Not quite exactly that, because the Coyotes, if for some reason were to win out and the Sharks were to tie the Coyotes could still get the tiebreaker based on regulation overtime wins, otherwise known as rows. So you have to add one more to it. So that's why it's 2. For the Ducks, they're already at 89. So the next point that they get, will clinch a playoff spot for them. So the magic number is 2, and so that's any combination of points lost by the Coyotes and points gained by the Sharks. Uh, so we'll definitely go with that. I'm trying to scroll here, looking at it. I don't see anyone's on the Twitter machine. So technically 2. Yes, so Chris, technically 2, but they don't have the tiebreaker secured yet. Uh, so
Well, wasn't it a Sharks win tonight and then a Phoenix loss, or sorry, Arizona loss within the next couple of games, and the Sharks could clinch it?
yeah, so Tuesday night the Coyotes play the Oilers at 7, and
Okay, so we're gonna have to win.
well, either we win or the Coyotes somehow lose to the Oilers.
So we need to win.
Yeah.
That pretty much.
All
Pretty
right.
much.
And with that, a couple more things that we can get out of here. I don't know if we talked about it. Burns breaks the point record tonight, so congrats to the Wookiee. beating Ozalinch. I think Gentry already covered that. We have the Jake segment. So here's your question. For the years the Sharks made the playoffs for 10 straight seasons, 04 through 14, which players scored the most goals in one playoff year? Marlowe in the 04 playoffs, Marlowe in the 06 playoffs, Pavelski in the 10 playoffs. Most goals in one playoff year between 4 and 14.
And what were the options again?
Marlowe in 04, Marlowe in 06, Pavelski in 10.
I'm going to go with Pavelski in 10.
All right. And Eric?
I want to say Marlowe in 06.
And you are both correct. Pavs and Patty both had 9 goals. Pavs, what is it? Patty had 9 goals in 04. Patty had 8 in 8. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jake.
No, it was Pavs had 9 goals in 10, and then I guess Patty had...
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying you need to read this.
Oh.
Okay. So anyway, either way, you both got it right, so we're all good.
And now for the slushy part.
And here's a slushy question. Wait a minute, hold on. This is not the question that I read earlier. He switched it up on me. Yeah, I don't even like this question. I like the other question better. I'm going with the other one. He basically said, and I know, you know what? I haven't seen Jackal on here a whole time, so I get the feeling we're cool if we like deflect to a different sport for 5 seconds, and we're not going to like get a shitstorm. Yeah. What is your opinion on the baseball player who retired because his team didn't want his son to be in the with him in the clubhouse? I don't know. Are you guys both familiar with this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is new. He retired because they didn't want his.
Yeah. So it's a guy for, I believe, the Chicago White Sox, right? And he used to play. I forget the team he used to play for, but I guess he had a deal there that basically his son, who's like 13 or 14 years old, can come hang out with them. Oh, Adam LaRoche is the guy's name. He had a deal where he could. The kid when he was with his old ball club, his son even had like his own fucking locker, right? Nice. So anyway, he's on to the White Sox, and I think he signed like a 3-year deal, and it probably $10 million a year or whatever it is. Baseball salaries are so out there. So with the White Sox, and the White Sox basically said, yeah, you need to keep the kid at home, man. Like you don't need to bring this kid in here, because apparently this kid was there like every day at training camp or whatever. So so instead of dealing with the White Sox and trying to work out a deal, he just said, screw it, I'm out of here. I'm going to retire. I'm out. If you don't want my kid around, that means you don't want me here, so I'm gone. So question being, and I know Brody even mentioned this too, like, what do you feel? My thing is, I'm kind of with the White Sox on this one. I can't bring, if I had kids or a kid, I can't bring my kid to work every day. It's like, that's a place of business. That's a place where you're supposed to do work. Even if it's a case of you have your own office and it doesn't disturb anybody, that you're supposed to be getting work done. And a lot of businesses have the whole, bring your kid to work day. So you get an opportunity, or if it's a thing of, hey, on Fridays we allow the players to bring their kid in, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, every day, yeah. If I was a player on that team, I'd be like, is this kid always going to be here? And
it's kind of like when we saw on the road to the Stadium Series, McClellan invited all the kids down for like once a week, and of course, then we found out what a jock was, and knock on it.
Yeah, like I said, a once a week thing, and during spring training. Sure, but if this kid is in the clubhouse like every day for the season or whatever, yeah, that would drive me nuts. And it's not like kids get in the way. I mean, just ask Dusty Baker's son and Justin Snow or JT Snow about that, right? It's not like kids ever get in the way, especially in the playoffs.
No, never.
So anyway, that's where we are on that. I do have. Do Do you have anything else before I get to my little quick 90-second rant?
I was gonna say, can we sign Evgeny Nabokov to a PTO? I don't know if you saw this. This was actually also on Bar Down, but of course today was the
You mean as a forward? Because he
yes,
scored today.
yes, that's what I'm alluding to.
Oh.
Thanks for reading the build up there, AJ.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
You ignorant slut. Nabokov was a part of the Shark 4-day fantasy camp, which is an all-day fun circus route of a great game and a great day. And Nabby was dressed as a forward and not a goaltender, and he had a sweet little move on the in the shootout. Definitely check it out because it was pretty fancy. Also, if I'm sure they'll be on his Facebook sometime, but Brody was mic'd up for the fantasy camp, which some of the proceeds go to the Sharks Foundation, and it's always fun because Brody somehow tries to fight Jamie Baker every year, and it just doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't work out for Brody.
Well, that's true. Yes.
A fight between two people, and he still comes in ninth. How do you figure that?
Oh wow, Brody, if you're watching, I didn't say that. That was.
I just threw that in there on behalf of NHL ties.
Oh wow. All right, you want a 90-second rant?
Yeah.
Time you and go.
Yeah, oh please, there is no time on this. Okay, so just a quick shout out. Let's just say that there's a Twitter account out there that pokes fun at some local media, and it brought it to our attention that as we every time you've heard Puck Guy come on, a lot of times he will point out the fact that one of the reasons why we do this is because the local radio stations here suck. And it was made very evident to us the other day that, and not that they suck, it's just that their coverage of the Sharks is, shall we say, lacking or not there at all. So anyway, one of the sports stations tried to, they do I guess, some sort of a Sharks post-game show now. Do they have like Kevin Kurz or Pashelka or somebody who can, a former player like Owen Nolan? No. They have a Kings fan that calls in that they talk to. Now, she's an awesome person. Watch her the show. Love her to death. She's fantastic. So anyway, I went back, and since I had heard about this, I went and listened to the audio. And this is what you get from this coverage. The first question that was asked to Jen was, how did Matt Tennyson look tonight? The guy who's still injured, who hasn't played in a game. How was Matt Tennyson tonight? This is after the game in Arizona, by the way. So that's how informed these professionals are. Also congratulated Brent Burns on breaking Ozolinch's record. So not only did they screw up because Brent Burns didn't break the record, he tied it, and then of course you don't know how to pronounce Ozolinch. I mean, dude, I want to, it's like Ozolinch. I just want to go with Ozolinch now for the rest of my time. And then of course finally they said, well, at least they're only 4 points back of Anaheim, and at the time the Sharks were only 1 point back. So congratulations, you're the it's like the Keith Olbermann. You are the world's worst for this week when it comes to Sharks coverage. The fact that you could blow in over a 6-minute segment and you blew you ignorant sluts. How do you mislead the sporting people that listen to you with such bad information? It's just sad.
I mean, like I said before when we talked, at least they're trying to give some love. Get your facts straight, though. Jen, love you to death, and I'm so glad that they're trying just a little bit to get some hockey love in there. But
you got to know what you're talking about, man.
Well, yeah, no, totally. You got to know what's going on. You got to pay attention to it somehow. but yeah, it's glad, and like for us, it took us a while to get going. Now we kind of know what we're doing, and we kind of know what we're kind of talking about. So hopefully, for their sake, they'll get better.
Yeah, with any luck. If I would imagine that they have some people that they could reach out to that actually know the game and maybe have them on regularly. That would be nice. If we could have Brody on here regularly, believe me, we would. So
Yeah, totally. Brody, March 28th. If
yeah,
you're free, let us know.
I hope you're available.
Ted Ramey, I know the earthquakes are off this week, so let us know.
I know.
All right. With that, final thoughts, Mr. Alexander?
It was a good week for the Sharks. They pulled it off, and now we're only within 2 of clinching the playoff spot. So it's officially a good time to get excited again for playoff hockey, because our boys in teal are gonna be punching their ticket pretty damn soon, and that kind of puts a smile on your face. So go for it, guys.
Absolutely. AJ?
This Thursday night is the last time we see the Edmonton Oilers in our house this year. I would love to see the Sharks honor Drew Remenda and let him drop the puck at center ice this Thursday, since he'll be in the house to call the Edmonton game. I think that would be a cool thing to do. I don't think it will happen, but I would like to see it. At the very least, I think it would be the coolest thing is if it is Star Wars night. Just at one point early on the game, they shoot video of Drew. They show it on the Jumbotron of him saying, "I am your father."
Of course. Of course. Of course you would. Of course. All right. With that, Sharks win 3-0 over the Desert Dogs. They have a chance to clinch their playoff spot on Tuesday night, whether it's a loss to the Coyotes or win against St. Louis. We will be back for you that night, uh, joined by who knows who. I'm sure I'll be here with with a few of the usual suspects. Depends on it. But check out Pucknology.net for all your needs. Ian wrote a wicked awesome article and part of the pregame today. Uh, Definitely subscribe hit that subscribe button down below or to the side. Uh, Definitely would love the love. And tell your friends and tell everybody about this, because we will be doing playoff coverage. We will have more playoff coverage than 2 radio stations combined. And with that, for AJ Strong, for Gentry Alexander, for our entire crew, I am Eric. You can follow me on Twitter at PuckGuy14. You can follow all of us at Pucknology. And until Tuesday night, keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it real fresh. Bye-bye.